The second day after Noah lost his memory, his first love returned. 3 years of marriage. Back to square one. The first love gave me a cold glance. I'm back, so you can leave now. When I was about to pack up and leave in a cowardly manner, Noah suddenly grabbed my hand. He frowned and looked at his first love with a cold expression. Did you get your head stuck in a door? I looked at him in confusion. This was different from the bitter love I had expected. Noah helplessly touched my cheek. I just forgot. I'm not stupid. In the 3rd year of our marriage, Noah was hit on the head by a falling object. The good news, he didn't die, and he wasn't disabled. The bad news, he lost his memory and only remembered the time before we got married. In other words, in his current world, I was a character who had never existed. Such a dramatic situation only happens in novels, but I unexpectedly art originates from life, and reality can be even more melodramatic. Maybe it's because Noah is a CEO. Most overbearing CEOs in novels go through such a plot, and I, in most cases, end up as a cannon fodder supporting female character. The day after Noah was hospitalized, his first love, the one he had never forgotten, returned. The first love was named Isla, beautiful and petite. At the moment, she stood proudly in front of me, sizing me up with almost icy eyes. All of Noah's friends and relatives looked at each other, and the originally lively hospital room fell silent in an instant. Those who had known Noah for a long time knew that he and Isla had been on and off, entangled. They were childhood sweethearts. I had also heard that on the day they finally broke up, Noah was so sad that he ended up in the hospital for emergency treatment. It can be imagined how deep that love was back then. However, our marriage was something I had chased after relentlessly. Therefore, now that his first love had returned, I naturally didn't have the confidence to compete with her. What's more, in 3 years of marriage, we didn't even have a child. There was really nothing to keep him. The worst part was that he didn't remember me now. Emma, I'm back, so you can leave, Isla said. So, after Isla said this, I resignedly sighed and prepared to pack my personal belongings. In the hospital room, just then, a hand with well-defined knuckles grabbed my wrist. I looked up and saw it was Noah. His eyes were deep, but there was a hint of gentle light in them when he looked at me. Where are you going? I didn't say a word. What was I supposed to say? Pack up and leave knowingly. Seeing that I kept my head down and didn't speak, he turned to look at Isla, who was shouting at me. Tell my wife to leave in front of me. Noah paused, his voice getting colder. Do you think I'm dead? He frowned and looked at his first love with a cold expression. Did you get your head stuck in a door? I looked at him in confusion. This was different from the bitter love I had expected. Noah helplessly touched my cheek. I just forgot. I'm not stupid. Isla's eyes widened in disbelief. Jing Chen, how can you say that to me? The beauty shed tears, looking pitiful. Even I, a woman, found her heart wrenching. However, Noah remained expressionless. Isla stamped her foot and finally ran out of the ward crying. The door of the ward slammed shut with a loud noise, but I didn't feel my ears hurt because, at the critical moment, Noah had bent down and covered my ears before I knew it. His first love left crying, but he didn't chase after her. I blinked. This plot was wrong. I want to rest for a while. Everyone leave, Noah said in a deep voice. Everyone left one after another, leaving only me and Noah staring at each other. As soon as he opened his mouth, I quickly interrupted him. I understand everything. I'll leave right away, I said, forcing a knowing smile and trying to suppress the bitterness in my heart as I prepared to get up and leave. In my opinion, the previous scene should have been him deliberately angering his first love, to revenge for being dumped. Why are you leaving? Noah looked confused. Wasn't he going to drive me away? I was confused. What were you going to say just now? When Noah heard this, he smiled gently. I wanted to ask you about our past things. He nodded with a smile, and his eyes were filled with gentle light. Just like in the past, like the bright fragments of stars, our eyes met, and it hit my heart. I know myself, he said. We looked at each other, and our breaths drew closer. I wouldn't marry someone I don't love, Noah said, looking at me with apology in his eyes. I'm sorry for forgetting you. He had always been a man of great cultivation and treated others gently. Perhaps only at work could one see the characteristics of an overbearing CEO. For some reason, my heart tightened, and a warm current seemed to flow through my heart. In an instant, it was as if spring had come, and all my anxiety dissipated and gradually calmed down. Why is your face red? He stood up and hugged me gently, with a faint smile on his face. Held in his arms, my face became even hotter. I chanted in my heart, lawful husband and wife, lawful husband and wife. During the days before leaving the hospital, I told Noah every bit of the 3 years every day. Although he had forgotten everything, he seemed extremely interested. He was very patient with my endless talking. I didn't ask him about Isla. First, I was afraid to ask, and second, I was avoiding it. Isla was his first love and his ex-girlfriend. When I met him, they had already broken up. I heard it was the first year after their breakup. To be honest, I'm a face control. The first time I saw Noah, I, a shallow person, couldn't help but fall in love. Although the Tang family was also well off, it was different from a big family like the Shen family. My father forced me to flirt with Noah in order to curry favor. As long as the Shen and Tang families could get together, the Tang family's business would be smooth sailing and go to a higher level, perhaps out of selfishness, or perhaps in response to my father's urging and coercion. In short, since then, I have been looking for opportunities to jump in front of him from time to time. Before that, I had never chased a man or been in a relationship. In love, I was a blank sheet of paper. Therefore, all the methods I used were to pester, just like the vicious supporting female characters in romantic novels. Except for being vicious, I almost had all the other qualities. Noah was gentle, gentlemanly, educated, and polite. In addition to his demeanor and cultivation, he was not a facial paralysis. With the identity of a CEO, he was not the cold-faced male lead in CEO novels. At work, he managed the Shin Group in an orderly manner. He was calm-headed, decisive in his actions, and full of personal charm. Thus, in this relationship, I fell deeper and deeper. I didn't tell anyone that. In fact, when Isla appeared, I empathized with the vicious supporting female characters in the novels. I was really unwilling. I really didn't want to give up. The day I learned he had lost his memory, I cried all night in my room. I had chased him for so long and finally achieved a positive result. I indulged in the pampering and drowning and tenderness in his eyes. When he smiled, how could a relationship be put down so easily? But I didn't expect that reality was different from novels. The return of the first love wouldn't make him abandon me immediately, but I was still panic. I didn't know whether this was a show to deliberately anger Isla, or whether he had really let go of the past. After all, the time when he lost his memory was just half a month before he met me. In Noah's memory, he and Isla had been broken up for a year now, and I didn't exist. The day after leaving the hospital was my birthday. I didn't want to be too temporary this year, so I suggested to him that we spend it together, just the two of us. In the dark night, all the lights in the house were turned off. Only the candles on the cake were left, their flames flickering, romantic and gentle. After making a wish and blowing out the candles, Noah's phone suddenly rang. I saw that the caller ID was Isla. Since she left the hospital crying that day, she hadn't appeared again. It was as if she had evaporated from the earth, out of a woman's intuition. I knew this was Isla deliberately angering him, unilaterally declaring a cold war, wanting to ignore Noah. Noah answered the phone. What's wrong, Jing Chen? There was a thief in the house, and I'm so scared. He turned on the speakerphone, and I clearly heard the panicked voice on the other end. Isla was breathing rapidly, and there was even a hint of crying in her voice. It could be seen that she was extremely frightened. I took small bites of the cake, pretending to be indifferent. In fact, my mind had already started to think about what reaction I should have next. To be honest, I didn't want him to go. Today was my birthday, and Noah was my husband. Regarding the matter of a thief breaking into the house, I should have shown sympathy and concern. But shouldn't the first thing be to call the police and notify the property management? Contacting an ex-boyfriend, and one who is already married. The little idea in this was obvious at a glance. According to my many years of experience in reading romantic novels, normally, I should be biting my lip and begging him not to leave me, not to abandon me. I just opened my mouth. Noah, did you call the police? Isla, no, I'm really scared. What should I do? Jing Chen, come and accompany me. Okay. Noah immediately hung up the phone. I sighed, seeing his decisive action. I thought the next step would be to put on his coat, grab the car keys, and rush over in a hurry. 3, 2, 1. Get ready to turn on the drama mode. Before I could speak, I saw Noah continue to fiddle with his phone and then dialed the police number. First, he called the police and told the general situation, and then he notified his assistant to contact the property management and security of Isla's residence. At that moment, I suddenly understood a truth. Noah was not a heartless person, and he wouldn't do nothing when seeing someone in danger. But this didn't mean he would choose to abandon his wife and go to another woman to offer his care. He did a series of operations quickly, completely not following the routine of scheming. Isla's phone called again. Noah said expressionlessly, "Calm down. There was a thief in the house. You should find a place to hide now and wait for the police. I have called the police for you and arranged for someone to contact the property security over there. They will arrive soon." Isla was still crying. "Jing Chen, won't you come and accompany me?" "Noah, I'm not a thief catcher, but I'm scared." Her crying voice was heartbreaking. I felt that if Isla continued to cry like this, she might be detected by the thief before the rescue arrived, and she would be miserable. A small piece of cake suddenly appeared in front of my mouth, and I opened my mouth to eat it. Noah was holding the phone in one hand and feeding me cake in the other, continuing to say without changing his expression, "I'm also scared." There was a sudden silence on the other end of the phone. I don't know if it was because I was too speechless. We didn't know whether Isla had really encountered a thief that night. I only knew that the next day, Isla came to find Noah wearing a hot red dress. When she saw that it was me who opened the door, the bright smile on her face suddenly disappeared, and instead, she had a face as ugly as the bottom of a pot. "Why are you here?" Isla rolled her eyes at me. I rolled my eyes back. "This is my home. Where should I be if I'm not here?" These words choked her. "Get out of the way. I want to find Jing Chen." Although I was a soft persimmon, I would occasionally be tough, so I slammed the door shut, and it seemed that I accidentally hit Isla's face. I heard her let out a shrill scream outside the door. "What's wrong?" Noah, who was cooking for me in the kitchen, came over when he heard the sound. Opening the door and seeing Isla with red eyes and a round face, Noah was stunned for a moment. It seemed that he didn't expect her to come, let alone that she would be in such a mess. The next second, a line of red liquid slipped from under Isla's nose, probably because the door was closed too hard just now. The afternoon sun was particularly warm, and I was lying on the deck chair on the balcony, enjoying the autumn sun, so comfortable that I was almost asleep. In the living room, from time to time, there would be Isla's crying and coquettish voice. "Jing Chen, I regret it. I shouldn't have broken up with you back then. Let's get back together." "Okay, I've always had you in my heart all these years, and I know you must not have let go of our relationship." Noah's voice was emotionless. "Please behave yourself. I'm married, but you don't love Emma at all. The reason why you agreed to her confession was entirely to anger me. You were just angry. Even God can't stand us being completely separated, because of a misunderstanding, so he made you lose your memory. This is God wanting to see us reunited." "Jing Chen, I was wrong. I shouldn't have left you back then. We were childhood sweethearts, and the person in your heart is clearly me. We both had regrets when we broke up back then. Now, give each other a chance to start over." "Okay." I sat up straight and pricked up my ears to listen to the corner better, but I never expected that the next second, Noah appeared on the balcony. "Wife, this woman is harassing me." I blinked. "Wife, say something." He took a quick step and hid behind me. I was dumbfounded. The first love was also dumbfounded. "Miss Zhang, please go out." I made a gesture of invitation. Isla looked at Noah with an unwilling wry smile, then stared straight at me and, "Emma, don't be too proud. He's just deliberately angering me. He loved me so much back then." "Isla, stop talking nonsense," Noah said in a cold voice. He frowned. "I was indeed sad for you back then, but that relationship is over. People should look forward. I hope you won't disturb me again in the future." Noah hesitated for a moment and then continued, "I have a family. Suppose I didn't love Emma before I lost my memory, but since I married her, as a husband, I will never betray her." I was syncope for a moment because of these words. Even with memory loss, more than 20 years of good education was engraved in his bones. At that moment, I suddenly understood a words. Don't choose someone who is only good to you, but choose someone who is inherently good. When choosing a partner, look at the lowest point of his human nature. Look at his bottom line. A person's innate kindness and sense of responsibility are better than thousands of sweet words. "Emma, you really have a good way," Isla said, shifting her hateful and unwilling gaze to me again when she saw that she couldn't convince Noah. Before I could speak, Noah quietly stood in front of me. "Being a mistress is not decent. Isla, you'd better." He held back for a long time before sincerely and earnestly saying, "You'd better reform." As soon as these words came out, Isla's delicate little face turned pale first, and then turned as red as embarrassed. I couldn't help laughing, until Isla left in shame, slamming the door. I was still squatting on the balcony, laughing so hard that my stomach almost cramped. Noah was confused. Did I say something wrong? I was laughing so much that I was trembling. I looked up at his beautiful and confusing eyes and said, "Why doesn't the CEO follow the plot?" Noah looked even more confused. Follow the plot. Do you think I did something wrong? I held back my laughter and told him all the anxiety and expectations I had had during this period. After listening to everything, Noah thought for a long time before speaking again. Losing memory doesn't mean losing wisdom, and it's not being possessed. After thinking about it, I said again, but in the novels, the overbearing CEOs all start the plot of abusing the body and mind, after losing their memory and start torturing the female lead. Noah looked at me with a strange expression. Juan, that's not a CEO, that's a psycho. Yes, that kind of overbearing CEO who doesn't understand the law, doesn't understand love, and likes to pretend is more like a rich street ruffian than a CEO. I belatedly realized that Noah wasn't that kind of person. He was emotionally stable, never lost his temper randomly, never smashed things, and was kind to the family nanny, the company assistant, and all the subordinates, never being harsh. Noah told